Welcome to the Light and Love Box channel. You are part of a growing community bringing peace, possibility, and prosperity to help transform our world with light and love. My name is Tracy Anderson,
And my name is Joe Courier.
and today we have Ana Cortez with us again. She is the author of The Doors of Somlipith.
Oh, hello.
Today we are going to be talking about the upcoming box for June of 2024. And for those of you who have not been following the channel, we got together as a group. We combined our efforts as Light and Love Box and the Doors of Somlipith to create these boxes that are basically like an immersion story that prepares you for your healing and ritual.
And every chapter gives you a new opportunity to delve a little deeper into that healing opportunity. The saga moves you through many different things, many aspects of yourself that might be surprising.
Yeah, actually, it's pretty crazy what keeps unfolding. Actually, never know what's going to happen.
I was going to say, is this something that we should lay at Anna's feet over there? Or is it just happening because?
Yeah. So we have been kind of using the gate cards, which are basically timekeepers, and I can link videos that Ana has dedicated to that topic. So if you'd like to learn a little bit more about it, you can. But for this month, that leads us to, we have the 7, 8, and 9 of clubs.
So those are the gate cards then that are leading up to the central card.
And so Morgana, she is the card we actually drew. So what is a little different that I am sensing this time around for this box, I'll link to the previous video, but the card we drew for May's box, so last month, was Gwen. And the last card in the gate cards is Galahad. And so you'll notice it's kind of creating two swords covering Morgana.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got the club suit, and then we have the diamond suit on the other side. And you'll definitely want to get your own book. But in the Doors of Somlipith, Ana talks about how it's a corresponding element that they work well together. So Ana, can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. These knights are really like serious partners. And I love how if you hold the cards together, they face each other. It's like they're acknowledging each other. They're definitely, if you saw these two in a reading like we are in this sequence for the boxes, is very auspicious. And, you know, these are knights for the forces of good, for the forces, you know, they're like heroes. And one is fire and one is air. And of course, those two elements are playmates.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're the levitational, they're idealistic, they have foresight. They see beyond, you know, what's here and now into a longer view of things. So yeah, it's like having two heroes working for us right now. And I love this sort of pictorial element that just builds as they, you know, flank this queen in the middle. There's so many ways to read into that. And I think you're building that into the story, aren't you, Tracy? Are you seeing that as something that we're going to work with actively in the box?
Yes. Now I think my mind's crazy sometimes, but
It is, but we love it. So keep going.
well, Anna saw a picture of my workspace here, and she called it my laboratory, and it really does kind of feel like that, like my magical laboratory or something. But every day these cards are on my wall, so I am constantly, it doesn't matter what I'm working on, whether it's one of my other businesses or whatever I'm doing, I'm constantly looking at these cards. And so when I first started working with the cards, the club suit is Ethra. Okay. And then not too long after this, Joe knows this very, very well, but I love the Y files. So I don't know if you've ever seen the Y files on YouTube, but I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I'm
So do
actually,
we. I mean,
yeah,
you introduced us to it, and we watch a lot of Y files.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
yeah. And so the video I'm gonna mention today, I'll put down below so you can check it out. but we saw an episode shortly after, and they were talking about time and time travel. Well, the topic of the ether came up, and there's something that happens in the ether, and it's torsion. And basically it's time is energy that's creating this torsion to occur, and it's creating a twisting motion in space.
Bending time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I think is really interesting is that we're in the clubs now, right? That's air.
Yeah.
And it's Ethra, and I'm thinking, man, we're like real close to ether. And the 8 of clubs is Wicca. And she basically is going in and out of all different spaces, realms. She talks to different beings, different animals, and then she weaves this web from all this information that she collects. And I couldn't help but think, man, that's like, she's the one that's weaving that time story in the ether.
Like it's all her fault.
It's her fault, but she's gathering all this information that's coming in, and it's in this space where all of time is connected. And I couldn't help, because that's what they're saying in the Y files, is that in the ether, where that time is creating that torsion, all knowledge, all thoughts, everything happening is being recorded in the ether. And so I couldn't help but think of the connection. So it's like when I think of her, it's like she's this almost like a shape-shifting being.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That is then creating this web of knowledge. Almost like a spider at a point, where she's weaving this intricate web.
Yeah, I absolutely love her, and she is like this invisible force that gathers these things that are happening in these multiple dimensions, and pulls them in together, like you're saying, and creates these stories that we call our lives. It's a very magical place that these stories come from. And our lives truly are very magical, and they connect to all different time and spaces. So that card is loaded.
I think we drift in and out of those time and spaces. Think about dream time. Think about in that moment, like before you wake up and you're in that space, it's like we can go through that veil or through that web and begin to be a part of that. And many people remember those moments, but I think most of us don't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're part of it, whether we know it or not. I mean, Wicca is part of us, and become conscious of it is really special. And that Ethra realm, that club realm, is the dream realm.
Mhm.
Her totem animal was I think it was the raven, or was it the raven was the totem animal. And there's this really neat book that I have. It's a power animal book, and the raven or the crow actually can help you journey to the void. And we actually do have a really great video that I can link to that was a journey to the void. But really that space, that ether, or in this instance, Ethra, that is a void space as well.
And a void doesn't mean empty. It
Right.
means that place of all potentiality that
Yeah.
simply hasn't been pulled into potential yet. So unpotentiated potential of everything and nothing.
hmm Yeah. So it's like that realm of all possibilities.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we think of it as a dark space, but it's not. That darkness allows us to be still. And in that stillness, I think we can find our answers, the things that perhaps elude us when our mind is busy or there are other things going on. So it's within that realm that Wicca, if you will, brings everything together, and we do have the opportunity to access it.
So as we kind of transition into the card that we drew, so Morgana, I was really interested with kind of that duality that you see in her. Um, the like kind of that one word meaning that you placed with her was patient.
Mm-hmm.
But then later down in the paragraph, it said, um, battling tendencies to be manipulative, secretive, or vain.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was kind of curious what your take on that duality was.
Well, all the cards have it.
Mhm.
All the cards have the duality, and some feel more one direction than the other. But um, I think the real transformative potential comes when we can see, the full circle, because we're human, and these are just energetics. So we have the ability to manage those energetics poorly or well, depending on each person. It's kind of almost like a toggle switch with each card. And
Mhm.
sometimes you're born with certain toggle switches on, and you just have to work your way through certain energetics. But Morgana, I don't know. I mean, she has been a very personal card for me, and I think all the cards have to be very personal in time. Um, but this is our physicality, so the aging female, it's very natural to want to hold on to your youth, to take it hard when your beauty starts to go down the drain, so I think that these are very natural tendencies that we see in her, and also as an earth suit, you know, there's the desire to control things. That is your realm when you are a queen of the earth suit, you know. So there's a very fine line between being able to step up and command that earth suit and needing to control or manipulate it. You know, if you don't feel that you're in your power, you might resort to those tendencies that aren't so complimentary, you know. So I just think for me, she's created such a mirror that uh, allows me to keep my behavior in check, you know. And I see Morgana in certain instances in my own life, and it acts as a guiding force, you know.
Mhm.
So in a way, the more negative aspects of her are more helpful for me.
It has the qualities of, besides being patient, of that magical aspect of things that to me seem like are hidden. And patience applies to that because you can patiently wait for things to be revealed, or you can use patience to reveal the things that are, you know, are hidden within you. So again, it's that toggle switch that you were speaking of, Anna, that, you know, the duality of, you know, a spider has a lot of patience to build a web or to wait patiently for its
Mhm.
prey.
Yeah, that's right.
And then you've got the two knights that are flanked on either side of her. It's as if they are there not only perhaps protecting, but maybe keeping things in check.
Mhm.
That's right. Yeah, depending on how you need it for in to perform for yourself.
Mhm.
Because we do need others, I think, to help us grow. I mean, we can do a lot of self growth, but until something is mirrored by those outside of us or
Mhm.
pointed out perhaps from others, we don't actually get the chance to fully recognize the impact or how it is that we need to shift and change.
Mm. Yeah. And she kind of represents this work that we are doing with these boxes, right? She's working with earth magic.
Mhm.
And the ritual box is all about that sensual experience, you know, using the earth in order to, um,
Mhm.
in alchemical ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think these knights, these two heroes on either side of her, really help us to utilize this queen in a way that's, you know, super beneficial.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
when you think of it that way, I mean, the way that you just described it, I think about she's the earthy, the one that's bound to this human form, if you will. And the
Mhm.
two knights represent the air, right? And
Mhm.
then fire. So we have the winds of change and we have the fire that is transformative. So
Mhm.
both of those elements are working with her to make earthly changes.
Mhm.
And I think that's happening not just for people, but I think right now there's a lot of transformation going on in so many ways. And our earth is transforming. I think this is an exciting box, honestly. I think there's that aspect, that magicality to it that is going to bring in some surprises. But I think there's also that recognition of the groundedness, the earthy actuality of being in this here and now.
Mhm. Yeah, I can't wait to see it. Can't wait to read the story. I love reading your stories and seeing the boxes, but just because I get in my own echo chamber with all of this work. So I love seeing what other people are doing with it creatively. It's really exciting.
Well, it's been exciting for me too because typically my writing is always very technical. And so this is allowing me to really explore more creative type type writing. So I mean, just even from a personal growth standpoint, you know, it's been really amazing to kind of explore that side of myself, you
And
know.
I can honestly say that I see that in the stories as you've been pulling forward that creativity. It's like you're getting more comfortable in it and more comfortable in yourself. And so it's just been really exciting
Mhm.
and it's wonderful to see.
Well, I think the biggest thing is it's that balance. Like even if you're just looking at Morgana with the two knights around her, to me I see balance. You know, it's like these two forces. It's not one overpowering the other. It's the coming together of something complementary to actually then create balance. And I just keep that message just keeps going over and over and over in my mind. It's that we've got to get to these places of balance, you know, so that we can be more effective people. We can grow more. We can, you know what I'm saying? Like you can just advance a whole lot more in every aspect of your life when we can find places of balance. And that's tough to navigate.
Oh, it's very tough because there are so many things that take us off of that space of feeling balanced. And it all comes down again to that inward sense of yourself.
Mhm,
Because yes, if you feel more balanced, then when things come from you or come towards you from outside, you can navigate a little better. But there always has to be that swing, or else you wouldn't recognize the balance point.
mhm, right.
I can see why elders used to raise the children, honestly, because
Yeah.
I think elders have the better chance of being in a place of balance and patience, and being okay with all the groundedness that comes with kids, you know, whether they're eating dirt or, you know, throwing it, it doesn't matter. But I can see where with age and time, wisdom generally, not always, but wisdom follows. And if we can begin to communicate that more and more, because then we find our own inward spaces of balance. Again, that's what Light and Love Box is all about, helping people to grow and find that place where they have the opportunity to reach inside and be in a place of compassion and forgiveness and the opportunity to grow. And I keep saying that word, but I can't help it because I think our soul comes here for the growth and the delight of all that earth brings. And growth
Mhm.
isn't always fun or comfortable.
No. And something in what you said triggered this realization about sort of this matured place that's represented here with the two nines. You know, nines are the final pip cards, and they represent sort of end chapters or final lessons. And then we have this queen, right? She is maximum status, you know, the highest rank that a female can achieve within her element. And so we're like end game stuff here. Like these are lessons that we need to clean up. These It's time to say, okay, I've already learned that lesson, and it's time to, you know, hand it over to the heroes and be the hero,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah.
And uh we're just we're done playing games right now. We need people who are standing in their power, and who have you know, done the work.
They're standing in their balance point.
Hmm. Yeah, we need each one of us, each person watching this,
Mhm,
to be the hero of their own life and to stand in that wisdom that, you know, we've all lived many past lives, and yet we often repeat those lessons. You know, the lessons have to come and come and come. Well, with the 2 9s on the either side of that queen, I feel it's like kind of a reality check. Like, okay, you've seen this before. You got it. Let's walk the talk. Let's move forward. Let's transform this gunk and be our elevated queen, our transformed and healed queen.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Well, I've got my notes over here. That's what I keep glancing at, guys. Sorry. But it just caught my attention. She's a strong and independent queen. And I think that goes back to, standing in your power, do what you need to do, heal what you need to heal, forgive what you need to forgive. Let's
And you're
move.
strong. Yeah, and you have the strength.
That's right. That's right.
But
Actually,
there's also that temperedness with it. So, we talk about standing in your power. It doesn't mean using it in a way that's
right.
going to create harm or discord or destruction that would be like a selfish destruction.
Definitely not. That is not coming from a place of healing at all. That is definitely not what we're talking about. We're talking healed people that are strong and independent.
Yes.
And
So-
inspire others to do the same. It's kind of like, if I can do this, you can do this.
That's right.
Mm.
That's right. Yeah, Joe and I actually just finished working on a blog that we're gonna release, and kind of back to your thought about repeating patterns. A lot of times people have a hard time identifying what those repeating patterns are, but really when you look at it, the core is the same. Faces may change, circumstances might be a little bit different, but when you really dig into the root cause of an issue, you'll be like, mind blown. Oh my goodness, this thing caused this and this and this and this. And when you get that out of there and you forgive what you need to forgive, release what you need to release, see things from a new perspective, it's like your whole world transforms.
Yeah, and it's
Like it does. That's not a maybe gonna.
It's not a hypothetical. It is. Yeah.
It happens.
Things change.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we do it for ourselves. We forgive those others that we can put in those positions of blame, but we forgive them because we need to move on.
That's right.
Yeah, and it's an act of kindness, sort of, on your part toward the other person, but it's more like, no, I'm not going to carry this burden around. You can go off and do your thing now. Like, you're free. I don't need you to be my crutch anymore. Like,
yeah. Well, and truly forgiveness is actually, I think, a gift that we give ourselves.
Oh,
that's right.
So,
Mm-hmm.
even if the other person isn't deserving of forgiveness,
but
but that doesn't remove the need for forgiveness because you need it.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
And if you are unable to move into that space, you're still holding on to judgments. And so, you reference being deserving of forgiveness. You do it for yourself. Like Ana said, it's a kindness towards other, but it's even a deeper kindness to yourself.
Yeah.
Because then you find that place of just being calmer and more accepting and just gentler within yourself.
And there's something in you that called forward that lesson. We have to be honest about it. It's a lesson that, once learned, is such a gift. It makes us grow. And we need those tough lessons in order to become shining, beautiful, transformed, strong people that are wisdom keepers. And we need those lessons. They're here for us. So,
I agree.
you have to work with these perspectives, you know, and it's hard. I know it's hard. I've got plenty of lessons of my own, I'll tell you that. We all do. As workers in this work, you know, as agents of transformation, as people interested in methods of becoming better people. And that's what I feel like all of what we're doing here is, you know, we have to have those lessons in order to climb, the
Mhm.
ascend. And it's kind of fun. It's kind of exhilarating when you finally like feel that something's moving, you know? It's
Oh, it is. I agree. Yeah, you do. You reach that space where you recognize the transformative aspect of something that has changed within you.
feels
You know?
great. And how many lifetimes maybe that you've been carrying that around, when you finally put it down, man, feels great. Feels amazing. It's worth it. Hmm.
The other part about the boxes and why it makes it such a transformative experience, it's the aspect of ritual. Because as we do anything in a space of full focus and reverence, if you will, you know, being in a place where we recognize within ourselves that I need this place of stillness or this opportunity for contemplation, or just to acknowledge to the universe, yes, I'm ready, bring this to
Hmm.
me. And ritual does that. That's why it's been part of the human experience, I think, since human experience began.
And
And
we've
we've,
lost it in so
yes,
many ways. Yeah, we've replaced it with like Easter egg hunts and, you know, Christmas presents, which are fun, but think of what might have been like the ritual aspect, you know?
yeah. We've
Yeah.
forgotten what traditions mean.
Mm,
Traditions mean doing things over and over because it honors what has come before. And it holds us tied to that place of being connected to something that is ancient or that is older and wiser than we are.
mhm,
And we have replaced it, Anna, with Easter egg hunts and presents and things that aren't going to actually help us to grow deeply
mhm.
and richly independently.
So we have to take responsibility and instill these rituals back into our lives. And the moon is like the perfect, I love the lunar ritual, right? Like once a month feels like a good rhythm, doesn't it? It's like
Mm.
not too often, but it's like keeping it present in my life.
Well, and quite honestly, I think that um, I need time. So, like, after I have a ritual happen, I need time to that next one because
Well,
it's like there's so much healing and so much that you are addressing, you know,
it's
one ritual that it's like you almost need time to integrate all that in.
yes,
Oh yeah.
integration. You need integration time because if you don't, then you don't allow all of that to come together and make those shifts or to
Mhm,
recognize them.
mhm,
Yeah, and I think you start to feel the rhythms of the moon inside yourself. You start to feel this ripeness that's occurring where things are up, and it's a good time to,
mhm.
you know, face whatever's happening head on with a ritual, you know.
I think as women, we connect strongly with that idea, that aspect of a lunar ritual,
Mhm,
because it works with our own cycles. It works with the idea of birth and life and
mhm,
death and all of those aspects.
mhm.
Mhm. Well, I mean, it too, it's the feminine energy anyway.
It's that feminine gift in many ways.
Yeah.
What's the rune for next box?
Oh, I didn't even I didn't even talk about the room.
What is
Oh
the
boy.
rune?
So the rune for this month, let me see if I can get it seen. I'll put it on the screen too, but it's Berkano. And so this is life changes.
I love that for this card. I love that paired with this grouping here.
In other books, it actually is growth as well. And so, you know, I think no matter what resource it's coming from, it's kind of all pointing to that same energy that we're finding in this grouping of cards.
Mhm.
It's perfect with Morgana, honestly, with her earth energy,
Mhm.
because growth, birth, all of those things happen for all living things, not just human living things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
should be able to see these changes on the earth realm. I mean, these should be reflected in the stories of our lives, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
as indicated by the earth suit of Morgana and the rune that you just pointed out.
Well, and if you go back to the previous box, Gwen was drawn with the earth realm stone also. So it was almost like prepping for that move into that earth space.
Yep. That shaman quartz with the earth tied into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mhm.
I love that stone. That's such a cool stone.
Sometimes you can like have all these thoughts on your own, but then when we start talking, you're like, oh wait, but then there's that connection and then this connection.
It's all about the connections, right? That's the Wicca. That's the Wicca in us, you know, pulling the threads together, the things that feel disconnected. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well said. Well, this next box, though, when we think about the stones, the one that's coming up with Morgana, she's going to be coming with some labradorite, and labradorite has that chatoyance, that sheen in it, and it shifts, and the colors can only truly be seen when you put it in a certain reflective light. So if someone's standing next to you and you're looking at labradorite, you might be able to see that beautiful flash of color, but they're in the different light and they see it differently. And I think that's very reflective of life itself, because we can only bring to every situation our own life experiences and our own way of moving through that, or looking at it, or accepting it. And then also there's going to be some tiger's eye coming your way. And
Ooh.
yes, yep. So more grounded, earthy energy, with chatoyance, with sheen, if you will. So it's going to be very special.
Nice. It'd be cool to put those stones on Morgana. You know, be really cool to lay this trinity of cards out with them. I love laying cards out as picture stories, you know, just really evokes something so much more than looking at an individual card. Like all of a sudden, stories come out. And so wouldn't it be fun just to lay those stones on her and sort of, you know, incorporate that into a ritual?
It would.
Absolutely. Actually, that is a really good point, because one of the reasons I've encouraged everyone to get the deck, to have your own, is to be able to put the cards out on your altar space as you're doing your ritual.
Mhm.
Um, I feel like, just in my own experience, like it almost like brings out more than, you know, in my prep, you know, I'm reflecting on things, but once you get into the actual ritual of it and you have those cards present and you're working with them
Mhm.
actively as you're doing the ritual, it
Mhm.
it brought out so much more, you
Mhm.
know, that I needed to address and work through.
Mhm.
Those connections become apparent.
yeah, it becomes very, very apparent when the cards are used in the ritual
Yep.
itself.
Yep. I always include them. Yep, of course. They seem like a really essential part.
Working together, and it was an extremely transformative and healing experience when it was all combined.
Ain't
Well,
nothing.
thank you both for the conversation today.
Yes, it's been wonderful. Ana, thank you so much for joining us. We always love having you with us.
Yes, we
Oh,
do.
it's a special time to get together with you guys.
Well, we encourage you all to like and subscribe to this channel if you have not already done so, and then you'll see our videos every month. And I will have tons of links below for you to explore and go a little bit deeper, and even a link so that you can start experiencing your own healing journey with these Somlipith saga boxes. So thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
See you next time.